Hey friends, my name is Igor and welcome on my YouTube channel Galicki Digital, a channel made for those who would like to know a little bit about design and web development and build fully responsive mobile and client-friendly websites for their customers with or without coding skills. This channel also provides an excellent opportunity for entrepreneurs who has a little bit more time to learn this fascinating and engaging work which is web development and build in the future their own fully working professional business website. First of all, let me introduce myself more deeply. My name is Igor Galicki and I am freelance business consultant based in Ireland, in Dublin. Galicki is my surname, so because I do digital stuff such as web design, web development, SEO, email marketing, one day I thought I'm gonna just mix those two terms in one consistent name. And once again, welcome on Galicki Digital YouTube channel, the first video about my story from subway worker to web developer. I came to Ireland in 2008, where 3 years later I finished my Leaving Cert at Holy Family Community School in Radcool. Personally, I think my English still isn't perfect, but back then it was a nightmare to ask anybody about anything. Originally, I'm from Poland, from a beautiful fabric city called Łódź, which means boat. The first 3-5 years in a completely different, strange place were very tough for me, without friends, and I had to, visit new places, and I had to recalibrate my brain to speak and listen in a way different language. In 2012, I started working in Subway as a sandwich artist. I was behind the counter and I was spending all days creating footlongs and other meals. This video is kind of like my testimony for myself, and I hope you will enjoy as I do. I was still studying, and back then the rents in Ireland weren't so high as today, but Ireland had a recession and crisis in 2008, and my mother lost her job. She was working in Avoca in Radcool. So because we were both living only in one house, as a son I had to decide to help her and myself financially. I've never had a clear path in my mind about what am I going to do in the future. I was thinking about being a veterinary consultant, but my Leaving Cert results weren't so good enough to fit into vacancies. So I was studying, working and partying. Since I can remember, I was always keen on IT. Led me back to my childhood. In 2004, when I was 12, I did some ugly and just bored basic websites. I remember I was coding it in Notepad. Yes, the same plain Microsoft Notepad, until I found Adobe Dreamweaver that had a what you see is what you get editor, and it completely blew my mind back then. A year later, when I was 13, I decided to create my first RPG game because till the present day I'm a big fan of RPG games. And I started coding it on the RPG Maker, a software released by Japanese studio ASI. I hope that my pronunciation is good, but if not, I apologize. In 1992. So it had a tileset-based map editor, plus I was able to create simple scripts like triggers and events in pure JavaScript. So for example, when the player pulls the lever, then something happens, like for example the staircase showing up, or the chest is now open, the hidden wall is visible. And I found this quite fun, especially when you could see your work in a 2D fantasy digital pixel-based world. That was fascinating as hell. In 2005, I started my first attempts to understand and get familiar with MySQL databases, tables and PHP, because back then I was a very hardcore player in a game called Tibia, and I had my private server. But this is a story for another video. If you want, I can tell you more. Just let me know in the comment section. I've never finished those two projects, to be honest. I don't remember even the name of my origin game, but I do remember that I was always passionate about games, softwares and applications in this order. When you are a child, you are not working, you're just playing. So somehow I stopped, and then I grew up. And in 2013, something changed. I found a free course in National College of Ireland in Dublin about web designing, just the web designing basics. And I thought, maybe I knew what web design is, but I didn't remember any syntax. but I could say that I had a minimal experience at least. So I jumped straight away into the course and I finished it. And I met great people, friendly, experienced teachers who gave me knowledge, and I became much more confident about web designing than before. However, that was an evening course, so even after when I was finishing at 10 p.m, I wasn't exhausted at all. In fact, I was motivated to learn more and more in web designing. So I was just spending hours and hours reading articles about web development, learning from YouTube, what is this, what is that, how this works, why do we need this, why we don't, what are the trends, you know, more than basics. And one day I thought I want to be a boss, I want to be a freelancer. So I remember I've created literally 35 websites of my digital business agency, fully working, mobile ready, and based on Bootstrap. And most of them were done on WordPress. And I wasn't a big fan of WordPress at all back then because I thought that this company steals my clients. But oh boy, I was so wrong about it. The problem was I had no experience and I wasn't sure if my websites are done in the correct methods of web designing. In other words, I had to find work in the IT sector. So I sent dozens and dozens CVs stating that a postgraduate student is looking for a job as a junior web designer, and I was waiting and waiting. And I had a few interviews, maybe 10, maybe 20, but none of them went through positive. So I kicked back being a sandwich artist in Subway because I had experience and I want to be independent from my mother, and I also needed cash. And yes, I just gave up. After 3 years of working as a sandwich artist, cleaner, shop assistant, changing my workplaces like a dirty dishes, and trying to find any decent work without success, I told myself, what the heck are you doing? Start doing something that is important. Because if you are working a shitty job, anyone from the street can replace you, then this is not a serious job, this is just a sub-work, hobby. So start catching your real dreams. So in 2016 I signed up for another course called Entrepreneurs Academy in Dublin on 16 Fitzwilliam Street. And again, I got back my confidence because now at least I knew how to create business plan, I knew how the business operates, and most important, I had to find my why. Not for whom, not where, not when, but why? Why am I doing this? Why I want to do this? Why I want to be a freelancer? Why I want to be independent? My tutor, Mr. Nevin Cody, he's actually a magician, but he's a damn intelligent, he was a very damn intelligent and very experienced entrepreneur, and he helped me loads of times, and I was very shocked that, you know, they have so much knowledge about the businesses and they can really motivate people. And you know, it was a great pleasure to meet all of them. The course took me approximately a year to finish and I did it, but my business plan, that was the final assessment, wasn't professional enough. So the primary teachers who were rating business plans, they haven't given me the green light to do what I want to do. And that was my fault because I haven't been paying so much attention at the end of the course. My first baby born, Julia, and I haven't been thinking fresh about the content anymore. Between 2017 and 2018, I decided back to my country and I quickly found a job as a CEO, junior specialist and web designer in the Galicki Digital, a Polish digital agency in Zgierz, in Poland. So I was working there for around a year where I learned what CEO is in reality, how to make a CEO audit, how to optimize website for Google rankings. At Galicki Digital, I learned loads of things, how the communication works between employees, what software use for CEO, and how this software works. Basically, I learned all the secret spy stuff there. And yes, white hat only, if you know what I mean, but I prefer grey hat. And this is the slang for those who know about SEO. Working at SanDisk Digital was a critical milestone in my unknown career of web developer, and again I met really nice people. After when I left SanDisk Digital, I decided to take the chance, so I back to this beautiful charming country Ireland, and I registered my business, I set up my logo, I bought the domain, I created my website, and I was ready to launch. After a month of the initial release of my website and optimize it for SEO, I got a phone call from Mr. Martin, and he was a guy who was on the course with me. We were both together on the Entrepreneur Academy course that I've mentioned before, and the receptionist, I don't remember her name, but she was very kind young lady. Thank you so much if you somehow see this video. She gave Martin my phone number because she knew that I'm capable of doing websites, and Mr. Martin like he was looking for someone to do a website for his business. So that's how I got my first client, and this is my story in a nutshell. Just by a pure coincidence, I became an owner, web developer, and SEO specialist in one. And currently I have a few clients. The case studies will be updated soon, so for those who would like to take a look at my recent projects, please be patient. During the whole pandemic, it's pretty hard, pretty tough to fit into the time. So like I said before, please be patient. It will be updated soon. If you like it or not like my story, tell me about this in the comment section. And also please subscribe my channel. This is an excellent motivation for me to upload the content weekly. And thank you so much for watching. Have a great fantastic day.